Hi, Whiskey Jason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. And today I have maybe the first time ever in history of the YouTubes, the internets, a tasting between Van Winkle 12-year-old Lot B new label, distilled in Frankfort, Kentucky with an O. Van Winkle 12-year-old Lot B old label, bottled in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. And I have a special bottle here from the 1980s. From the name was still Old Rip Van Winkle 12-year-old Family Winkle Van Winkle Family Reserve Private Stock, Lawrenceburg bottling. They are all 45.2%. Now, I've spent maybe about 3 hours researching, preparing for my Van Winkle tasting galore, and not once I found the reason why they use 45.2%. Maybe someone can write down in the comments, why 45.2%? I don't understand that. They started in the 80s and they even did in the 90s, or at least before 2002, and now they still do it today. Now, why is there an old label and a new label? So, the great-grandfather, Julian Pappy Van Winkle, that's his picture on the 20-year-old Pappy, the 23-year-old Pappy. He was the president of W.L. Weller, and also he became the president of Stitzel Weller Distillery. He started off as salesman, worked his way up. Salesman, warehouse, president. During Prohibition, the Stitzel Weller Distillery actually had permission to sell whiskey, but not produce it. So after Prohibition was over, 1935, in Cheveley, Kentucky, Stitzel Weller actually opened up their own distillery, and they sold whiskey. First of all, they sold 3-month-old, 6-month-old, 9-month-old, 12-month-old, 24-month-old, and then they had enough stock to actually sell what they wanted. This was called Carolina Club whiskey. Not good stuff. So they had to sell 1972 this distillery because no one wanted to drink whiskey in the 70s. Remember the 68s? The revolution, the sexual revolution and all that. There was a lot of different things happening, and exactly what father and mother drank was absolutely the worst thing you could drink, and they drank bourbon. Therefore, their children did not drink bourbon. But Julian Van Winkle Jr., the son of Pappy, still had his nice little office, his secretary, and he used the stock from Stitzel Weller Distillery and made little decanters and sold them to university and colleges. And his son, Julian, took over the business, especially after his dad died in 1981, when Julian was only 32 years old. And then he bought the old Hofheim Distillery. I'm telling the story because we need this part. The old Hofheim Distillery was located in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. That's where he stored his casks, and that's where he had his bottling facilities. So, the old label was distilled in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. The 1980 version was filled up in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. 2002, Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery, the Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery. I love when they say distillery, even though they never distill anything. They signed an agreement with Buffalo Trace, 2002, that Buffalo Trace will, starting at that point, actually produce wheated bourbon according to the recipe of Pappy Van Winkle. So, and that's why the new, wherever the new is here, is actually the new label. And so it was filled up at Frankfort, at the bottling facility in Buffalo Trace. Which one is which? I don't know. As I said, I don't think anyone has ever done this online, ever. If you can find someone who's done this, please send me the video. Put it down in the charts. I don't think anyone actually has compared all three at once online. In the 80s, let's say the 90s, it was before 2002, and after in the 2000s. All three of these are my glass. I have different samples of each of them. I have friends that have actually given me samples, and I bought them at very reduced and very civilized prices, to be honest. I have them in my glass, and since I have three different things from Van Winkle 12-year-old, I couldn't think of anything better to do with them than what? A blind tasting. I hate and love blind tastings. You can't see it, you don't know what it is, you can only rely on your nose and on your taste buds. And this makes it so difficult and so exciting at the same time. So let's try the nose of the first one. I have a lot of orange peel. Nice. I have less of the orange peel, and here something special. And here I have also a lot of orange peel, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of clover. I had that here as well. But it seems to be a tiny bit more alcohol. All three of them are 45.2%. No difference. But yet, they all smell different. I would have never expected that. But they do. I think I talked about this maybe 3 or 4 videos ago about single cask. I had Rocktown, Arkansas whiskey, single cask, bottled in the same year, the same month, filled, same month, different casks, and they tasted completely different. Van Winkle, small batch, once a year. They come out in November, maybe a tiny little thing that they're also distribute in the spring. But basically, October, November is when people have a frenzy about the hype of Van Winkle. So I'm just going to leave them like they are. I'm going to taste them from my right to left, from your left to my right. Wow, it's hot. This is so hot. There's so much alcohol. It's so young, even though they're all 12 years old. Also, that is amazing sometimes. How 12 years doesn't mean 12 years. Blantons, we know. The higher up you go on the rickhouse, the better, because the more the more difference in temperature during night and day works with the wood, and it becomes smoother, mellower, better. This stuff was down in the basement. It doesn't even taste like it's 12 years old. It just bites and just grabs at you. So what I do in German, and that's what I'm going to do now, it's called Cracker Time. Somehow I have to clean my palate. I hate coffee, so I take Ritz crackers. I dance around a little bit, at least in my German videos when I do my blind tastings in between bottles, so that I have time enough to cleanse my palate. This was hot. This is Oh, net. Net is nice in German. Sorry, that was more of a reaction, a reflex than really a thought there. Alcohol is still there. Not as much, but it's definitely it has a great bourbon profile. So, let's see what the last one has. I'm going to take a little bit of water. I'm sorry. Usually my videos are very live. I don't cut anything else unless I sneeze or unless I have to get up to get something. Otherwise, you just experience WhiskyJason tasting his whiskeys live in front of the camera. So, the last one, and I have no idea where what is. I did this already in German, so I think I know that this is going to be... I'm not going to tell you yet. I kind of think this is what But what is this? Wow, that's good. So, that's really good stuff. And if I'm right, you can't get it anymore. I think this is from the 80s. I think this is from the 90s. And I know this is from the 80s. I think this is from the 90s. And I think this is from today. So let's start. I have here the 1980s. This was so hot of the three. It's amazing how bad this is. So I think I bought 3 CLs, but my friend gave me 5. I think I know why. So this should be from the 80s. Let's see. This is the new stuff. And this is the old stuff. Wow, I got those wrong. So, the new stuff, the old stuff, the 80s. Did I really like the new stuff better than I did the old label? So the old label would be 90s. I did call it a little bit hot. And here, see, this time I would actually switch them around. I would say this is better than that. Maybe I still had a little bit of heat in my mouth and I was a little bit too quick for that one. But the old and the new label are both very, very good. Amazingly, the 1980s is really out of this world wrong. It's just as if it was a 4-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon. Not really worth it. So, what can I say? I don't know. I've done something maybe no one else has ever done. Tasted 3 different decades of Van Winkle 12-year-old Lot B. Ha! And I'm from Germany. How did I do that? So, WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. I kind of feel a little bit proud of myself. The 80s, no good. The old label is a little bit better than the new label, but even the new label is very, very nice. So the old label, by the way, was Whiskey Base. If you ever take a look at this, 79537. It was, as I said, bottled in Lawrenceburg. And the new label is 31194 at whiskybase.com. And this was bottled in Frankfurt. Thank you for watching. Maybe you have some comments. Maybe you have some ideas of how I can do the blind tasting in a better way. And I'm always looking forward to hearing from you. See you soon. Bye.